maybe Paul, why don't you start with a little rendition of the interest rates and how they're going to drop 1% on Wednesday or when is their announcement? A
1%.
week or so?
I think it's the 8th, is the last announcement of this year.
Yeah.
For those that I haven't met, I know there's a few faces here. I'm a mortgage broker. We've got a company in Vancouver. We're just near Cole Harbor here. And we work with the Century 21 office in support for your clients. If you have any questions on financing, how to get deals done quickly and stress-free for your clients, give us a call. But there's always questions to be had, and I'm always available if you need me. Um, Interest rates, yeah, exciting times. Next week predictions are probably a quarter point. Um, there are some growth in GDP that are slowing down the big drop. This morning, it looked like a 50% chance of a half a point drop on the 8th. So minimum a quarter, maybe half a point. It all comes down to the jobs report. I think that comes out on Monday. And if that looks really positive, it probably won't be a 50-point drop, but we'll see. Anything helps.
Stats just came out, and I think Angel, did you get a chance? I highlighted everything for everybody and sent that out. I'm not going to dwell too much on the stats other than kind of going over a couple of things. Basically, what the gist I'm getting on what's happening in the market right now is kind of steady as she goes. We're slowly ramping up. The sales are continuing to increase, or our number of sales out there is slowly getting more and more each month. And but there was a lot of inventory online already. People, that was backed up, and there was a lot of excess inventory. So what's happening now is that inventory is really starting to to drop off with the sales coming up. And prices are they're certainly not 2 or 3 months ago they were leaking and going down. I think as of last month or October or so, they stopped really kind of going down because the demand started to pick up and they kind of stabilized, and then they started to go up slightly, and now that's a continuing trend. And what BCFSA, the statisticians there are saying, is that we're expecting a busy spring. And I can feel that. I know I can kind of get a feel for what's going on out there by the number of calls I get as a managing broker. And I'm getting a lot of calls from you guys. So little things, this and that, and so on and so forth. We're going to talk about a few of them here this morning. But when my phone starts to pick up and I'm getting those kind of calls, I know that you guys are busy. And I don't mind the calls because I know that means you're doing business. So it's a really, really good sign, guys. So as a realtor or property manager, whatever you guys are doing, start getting your materials out there. Talk to your buyers. Now's the time to buy for a buyer, absolutely. I expect by, if the trend continues and if everything holds steady, as it seems to be right now, and it increases a little bit, they're expecting prices to start going up, and you're going to start seeing, multiple offers, that kind of thing going forward, in, March, April, or February, March, April. So, if you're a buyer out there, you got lots of inventory and you got, lots of choice to make, going from there. So get out there and buy. As Paul said, you're going to get, and it doesn't matter what the amount of the interest rate change is. It's really the direction that it's going, and the direction it's going is down. So the publicity out on that will be positive relative to buying, because everybody's going to say you can afford more, and it's going to power up the market. So even if it goes down a quarter, it's still going down, and that's an important psychological thing for the public and the buyers. So I expect it is going to go down somewhat, and as Paul said, and it will power up the market a little bit more. Now, the only thing, we got Christmas coming up, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay there, I suspect. Everybody's kind of doing your Christmas parties and doing your shopping and, going to Taylor Swift concerts and spending all your money. But that kind of thing. So it'll slow down a bit, but I think it's going to pick up pretty quick in January, and it may go right through. So my advice to you is, if you have the wherewithal, is stay in town and keep working. And work with your buyers, work with your sellers, and with your sellers, the other thing is that, you know, with more buyers out there, there's more opportunity to sell. So if your clients are priced appropriately, you know, then you know, they're going to be able to move their products. So the buyers are out there, and I know I've been helping out with some open houses, and it's steady. I mean, we're getting, you know, 10, 15 people through. I was out with Michael Booth in Langley there, and God, we had, I don't know, inside of about 3 or 4 weeks, we had about 80 groups through. So don't tell me there's no buyers out there. So if you're a new realtor, or, you know, if you're Rico, you got a bunch of listings coming up. So if you need some help, we got a lot of new realtors in the office, and even that, not, you don't need to be new to do this, because you're going to pick up buyers here. That's what you're looking for. So make sure you're volunteering for that. Or man, I don't know where you're at, what you're doing, but Rico, we have a bunch of newbies. They should be here now, and they should be meeting you, because that's, you know, that's what I'm telling them. But if you take a break and you need to do open houses, you know, get somebody. They should be out shadowing you on your opens. And then when it comes time and you need your breaking off with the family, whatever, or celebrating your birthday, they can take over and you know, come out there and pick up these buyers, because they're out there, guys. I absolutely know it. I've seen it, my own eyes. So, you know, I think the thing here is that if you want to have a successful year in 2025, you might want to kind of power up a little bit now, because, you know, there's an old saying I heard that, you know, about hunting and so on and so forth. You know, when the ducks are flying, shoot, you know, kind of thing. And the ducks are flying, the buyers are out there. So get out there, get your advertising out there. If you're a listing, you know, make sure you're taking notes, and, you know, if you can, do your own opens, but if you can't, we have lots of people to help you out going forward on that one there. Um, I will share the stats with you, because they came in just about 5 to 10. It always happens that way. Now, let's see if I can find my stats pack here. Let me share. And oh, by the way, you also got, can you all see my this is called the news release. Can you all see it? Just a thumbs up, because I can't. Paul, can you see that? Okay, good. I'll just cover this. You guys got this in your email. I think Angel just sent you a copy of the highlighted ones. It also comes out the real estate board that just came out 5 minutes ago. And this is something that you want to send to your buyers right away. And you can have and send it to your sellers as well, to have that conversation of what's going on. And all we're trying to do here is these kind of are long and windy kind of press releases. But what I normally do is highlight the appropriate parts. But all I want this to do, it's kind of like the interest rate change. It's not the amount of change, it's the fact that the direction it's going. And that's the same with these news releases. If you send them to your clients, you don't want them to read the whole thing. But what I want it to do, or my objective of is, when I send it to my clients, is it precipitates that conversation, and you have something to talk about. And, you know, you're keeping them informed, you're giving them a service, you're providing them with that. So going forward, I just kind of hit the highlights here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Across all detachment, and I think all of you kind of know by now, or you should know by now, the sales to active ratio. That's kind of our gauge on how the market's doing. And as you know, if it goes above 20%, if there's more houses selling, it'll put upward pressure on the prices. If nobody's selling any houses, it's less than 12%. That means there's more sellers than there are buyers, and it'll put downward pressure. A balanced market is from 12 to 20. So that's where the prices are medium. And, you know, that's kind of an area I don't mind being in, because as a realtor, you can forecast accurately. When that starts to get, when the market heats up and we start selling 3 out of 10 houses, that's 30% sales to active ratio, or 40% it's been, and it can be even higher than that. That's when you get these multiple offers. And that's when it's really difficult as a realtor, because, you know, if you're buying a million two in a million two range, and you've got 5 offers on that, do you offer a million two five, a million two two five, or a million seven five, whatever it is? You know, it's kind of a crapshoot, and it's really hard to give advice to your clients. So if you're working with buyers right now, the market's starting to spin up a little bit, and the sales to active ratio is a gauge for that. So across all detached, attached, and apartment property types, the sales to active listing ratio for November overall is 17.1%. By property type, the ratio is 12.7 for detached homes, 23% for attached homes, and 18% for apartments. So the townhouses are the hot market there. The hot tamales. So that's kind of where you want to be if you've got sellers or buyers in that market range there. You want to kind of emphasize this, have a good look at this, and it's something to share with your clients going forward. Your apartments is moving at the top end of the sales to active ratio. It's moving into a seller's market. And probably by January, it will be a full-blown seller's market on those two things. The attached, which is the townhouses, and the apartments will both be in over 20%. It looks like. The one holding back is the detached houses. They're at 12.7. Well, probably the reason for that, I don't know what the lowest price of a detached house is in Vancouver, but God, they're about 1,200,000 or 1,800,000, 1,900,000, and people just don't have the money. I know that the townhouse that Michael Booth and I had listed in Langley was listed at about 850, and it was crazy busy. So there is a sweet spot in the pricing as well, and I think the houses have kind of priced themselves out of the market right now because people just don't have the money with the interest rates the way they are. But it is what it is. I'm not an expert on that, but this is kind of what my observations are. And just although this is kind of the bottom line of their forecast for next year, although demand has increased as we head into the year end, the number of newly listed properties coming to market in November remains significant to keep prices steady across all segments. But as we move into the new year, if the strength in demand continues at the current pace and the pace of newly listed properties coming into the market doesn't keep up, it may not be long until we see a return to upward price on pressure. So it's going to move into a seller's market across the board, and it's heading that way. So again, guys, it's not the actual numbers today, but it's the direction everything is going. The interest rates are coming down. Our inventory is getting eaten up. It's getting sold, and the demand is still strong. So the forecast is going to be good, and that's really the point you want to get across to your clients. If you're so inclined, you can do a little video on it and send it out to your people, and just include an information package like this. Send it out to your clients and ask them to give you a call if they have any questions. And I'm sure you're going to precipitate something. You're going to get one or two calls for sure. People want to talk about their houses and what's going on with their biggest asset. And they're all looking at this too. They're going to hear it in the news, and they're going to hear about the interest rates and so on and so forth. So that's going to all be next week. You want to be ahead of the game. That's why I was kind of upset that the real estate board sends it out to the press before they send it to us. Because I want to be the first guy to tell my guys that, and then they're going to hear it in the news, and that's just going to reinforce what I've already said, and hopefully get a call. So you want to kind of get out there and get ahead of the game. If you go follow this down into the real estate stats, it gives you the actual areas and so on and so forth. So you can use this stat as well. Residential composite, of course, is all three. That's apartments, townhouses, and houses. It's holding steady. There's no change. The prices aren't going up or down right now. This is a 1 month change, month over month. So I'm just this is the indicator I use to kind of see what's going on month to month, and if it's accelerating or decelerating, going up or down kind of thing. So good news here is North Van is up 0.6. We got Vancouver East, Vancouver West. Vancouver East overall composite is down 0.7. Vancouver West is 1.1 up. So prices went up 1.1% month over month. Single family detached, this is where we have it's kind of still in the low end of the balanced market, and that's overall single family detached houses is down 0.3. North Van, it's up 0.5% month over month. Vancouver East, Vancouver West, minus 1.5 and 0.05. So going on to townhouse, this is the hot tamale market. This is where things are heating up according to them. Townhouses, Greater Vancouver townhouses are up 0.8% month over month. North Van's getting a hit. It's down 1.1. Then we got Vancouver East down minus 0.3 and Vancouver West up 4.3. So Vancouver West, that I think the downtown area has been depressed. I don't know. Is anybody here? Armand, are you working the downtown area? Did I see you on the corner somewhere working? Where are you at, Armand?
No, we had a listing. It was sold last month. Not now.
Well, what I'm kind of seeing from my perspective is that the downtown area, Rico, are you doing anything downtown? Or are you kind of where you at? Yeah, still there? Are
Uh,
you working
sorry about that.
downtown?
Yeah. I just sold one in the West End. It was a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and there was quite a bit of demand for it because there wasn't much on the market for the West End in terms of 2 bedrooms in and around the 750 price range. I had it listed at 699. It ended up selling for 800.
Wow. Wow. That's what it's saying here. It says Vancouver West up 4.3 month over month. And I think what's been happening, looking at these stats, is that the Cole Harbor kind of downtown area has been a little bit depressed. And it usually it's the epicenter, it's the first one to move, but lately it's been the outer areas moving because of the price point. And now it's starting to kind of come in inward. And I think the prices now downtown are starting to be affected. And as it says here, 4.3, it's up and you can attest to that, Rico, and that you went 100 grand over asking. So that market is kind of ramping up a bit. So, again, these numbers that we're getting here don't necessarily mean that your unit is going to do that. It all this is kind of a generic kind of overall look at things. If you get into the snap stats, they'll give you a more detailed one of specific areas. But generally speaking, if you have a well-priced unit in a well-priced in a desirable area, desirable unit, you're gonna start feeling the effects of this. So it all comes down to pricing, and that's the conversation you want to have with your sellers as well. A well-priced unit in a desirable area, is going to go fairly quickly. So, but you still have to have sharp pencils here to get these things moving. So it's not just throw something up and it's going to sell. For apartments, overall Greater Vancouver is down 0.6. North Vancouver, it's up 0.7. Vancouver East and Vancouver West, 1.0 and 0.5. So interesting numbers there. They're kind of these don't seem to be correlating with the sales to active, but sometimes there's a bit of a lag there. So I'm just going to stop sharing that. Is there any questions anybody has here? Anybody want to make any comments? Maybe about the market stats? Okay, just gonna move along here, and we're gonna kind of talk about some other things. So usually, what I comprise the sales meeting of is my segment. Mike's got his own segment, but I do mine, and usually it's precipitated from with the questions I get during the week. And that kind of gives me an indication where you guys are at, what kind of questions you're asking, kind of gives me an idea of what's going on in the market. And we're having a bit of a time with the disclosure of interest in trade. So if you're a family member, if you're selling your own property, we don't allow you to sell your own properties, by the way. That's our office policy. Because if you sell your own property and represent yourself, you may void your errors and omissions, and if you avoid your errors and omissions, you can avoid the office's errors and omissions. So there's two sides of errors and omissions. There's the office and there's you. So when somebody were to sue you, they're going to likely sue the office as well. So we're both part and package on that thing. So we've got to protect ourselves as well. The office, or not me in particular. I'm a managing broker. I'll just get in trouble from BCFSA and they'll throw me in real estate jail. So for not advising you properly, and I don't want to go there. That's why I do Realty 101. But anyway, it would void your E&O, and but that being said, is you got to disclose that. People want to know that, and the idea is that we don't want to mislead the public. And what have been going on with the last couple of days is somebody outside of our office, their client had went to what they thought was a pre-sale, and as it turns out, it wasn't a pre-sale. And the realtor there was selling a property that was relisted, and consequently, they talked to one of our realtors. And as it turns out, that realtor was an owner of the company that owned the property. So according to BCFSA, if you own a company and you own more than 10% of that company, and that company owns property, you're the owner, and you have to disclose interest in trade. Well, that person, and I've seen recordings of it, has a total, they totally misled the public. And they said that, oh, I'll get a hold of the owners and, they're okay with this price and I'll get an approval. Well, what did he go around the corner and talk to himself and come back and give the person an approval? That kind of thing. So very misleading. So we're not really happy with that person. The client went to our realtor and we put an offer in, but the guy doesn't have a disclosure of instant trade posted. He doesn't, and you don't necessarily have to post it. Now let me kind of break that down for you as well in a minute. But if you ever read a disclosure of instant trade, the disclosure of instant trade has to be presented to the buyer prior to them sending in the offer. So, they need to know that who they're dealing with is a realtor, and it's not a big deal, you guys. It's not who cares if you're a realtor or not. I'm buying the property and it's a fair price. I'm good to go. I don't care if you're a realtor or not, or you're a mechanic or you're a lawyer or a doctor. I don't care. I want to buy the property, and if you've done your due diligence as a buyer's agent, you know the market value of the property. So, I don't know. Everybody asks me about disclosure, and I have to disclose. Well, what do you mean you have to disclose? You should want to disclose. Who cares? So disclosures aren't that bad, and they're not going to affect it. But anyway, this guy didn't disclose, so we've got an issue with that going forward. We're going to have some complaints about that person. We don't want, and the thing is with that, what we're seeing is that it puts all of us in a bad light, because her client is asking her, our client is asking our realtor, can they do that? And that's the question you really don't want to hear from anybody. If the client thinks that they're being dishonest, and that it's bad for everybody. And that's kind of the thing. This guy, I don't know if you guys have read it, is this guy out there that's doing, I think he's Yaletown, and something in his ad says that he's the responsible for making all the prices going up and all this other stuff, and it's blowing up in the media and social media and all that. And I don't know that that's a good thing to do. I don't think it's reflecting good on realtors, as a whole. Just causing that controversy. Just stay out of the limelight on those kind of things, guys. You don't need the publicity and that kind of thing, or good or bad, just stay out of it. So anyway, but disclosure of instant trade is important. If you have any questions about that, call me. Posting documents on your listing. We had another situation where we have a problem with stalkers and so on and so forth. And for you, those of you, watch out for that. I mean, if you Rico, you've been in the industry for a while, and you probably heard and seen or know somebody that's kind of, these guys are out there, doing weird stuff. And Mike and I really are concerned with that and take a hard line on it, and we'll give you any support we can whatsoever. If you have any indication of that whatsoever, please call us, and we'll try and help you through it. And we've called the police on people, we've called the board and had them put an APB out on these guys, but they seem to change their numbers and stuff and do whatever. Anyway, long story short, client didn't want the title posted, didn't want documents posted and all that. So you don't necessarily have to post them, but you have to post a letter that your client doesn't want you to post, and to get a hold of you if you want, a copy of the documents. That's in the realtor comments and so on and so forth. They're not accessible. The documents we post online on Paragon are not accessible to the public anyway. They're only accessible to realtors. No, they can see them. So that's the title, disclosure of presentations, not posting strata documents and so on and so forth. And I kind of agree with the one on not posting strata documents, because the strata documents are personal to that strata, and you don't really want to post them out there and without authorization. I mean, they're kind of somewhat public, but not public. I mean, it's all the ifs, ands, and buts. If you've ever read strata documents, and I'm sure you all have, the minutes are, Fred up in 1053 was watering his plants, and it dripped down into 903 and blah blah blah. It's all the little stuff, along with the meaty stuff, the AGMs and the financial reports, that kind of thing. So, but if you don't post, get a document online, a letter will be fine, saying that your client has requested not to post. I wanted to talk a little bit about Privacy Protect. That one there is that you're not allowed to contact these people even after listing expires. So if you look up an old listing, it says privacy protect. The client has signed off saying they don't want anybody from the real estate board, including all the realtors, to contact them again. So you're not allowed to contact them if you're found you're doing that and they complain. It's going to end up the real estate board. I think that's under the rules of cooperation, and you may be doing some stuff. Are you waving at us, Mike? Are you okay there? Do you need some help? Angel, get in there. He needs help. He can't talk. He can't get his computer working. I can say anything I want about Mike now. He can't talk. He can't defend himself. Welcome, Mike. Welcome. You look great. You look taller and thinner today. I don't know what happened to you.
Okay, I have a question. I'm having technical issues. I'm sorry I'm late. So speaking of privacy protect, Doug, if the seller all of a sudden reaches out to one of our agents and wants to talk to them about real estate, how do they get that privacy protect removed, or do we acknowledge, or do we care now that we've been contacted?
I don't think we care, Mike. They've contacted us. The privacy protect says we're not allowed to contact them unsolicited. But in this case, they've been solicited by the client. It just waives all that. They can call us, but we can't call them. So I wouldn't worry about that, and I would just document that if the other realtor or somebody were to complain, and probably the person that's going to complain is the owner. So if they're contacting you, they're not going to call and complain about themselves. I called the guy and he shouldn't have talked to me. But the other way around, if you call them and they say, look, I was working with another realtor and I told them I don't want anybody from any realtors calling me. And I put that online. Why are you calling me? That's it. Normally, none of these things have a consequence unless somebody complains. And what I find is that a lot of the complaints will come from your fellow realtors. They'll see something online that's not there or not right, and they'll call and complain because we're notorious for getting our fellow guy in trouble if we're not doing it right, and we kind of police each other. So it's good that way, but some of them are a little frivolous and really don't warrant it. But anyway, that's kind of the privacy protect posting documents we talked about. Cancel protect is a little bit different. That's where the listing has been canceled. It's off the market, but it's still under contract with the original realtor. And normally, the reason for that is probably not probably, but maybe because the seller and the realtor have had a disagreement, and the seller wants their listing taken down. But for whatever reason, now just let me take a step back. A listing agreement is between the seller and Century 21, the office. The realtor that's involved is Century 21's designated agent. So you're acting on behalf of Century 21. Century 21 actually controls your listing. We accept it on your behalf, and if we want to cancel it, we cancel it on our own behalf. We don't need your authorization as a realtor to cancel that listing because the contract is between Century 21 and your client, not you. Now it's your client. We're not going to mess with that. Don't get me wrong here. But there's certain times that we'll stand up for you and kind of do that. But sometimes I have to take a hard line on that and just let the listing go. And I'll kind of explain that in a bit here going forward. So the cancel protect part is what it is. It's a conditional release. So we're releasing them, but we're going to hold their feet to the fire for 60 days. So that means if they sell the place within 60 days of the cancellation, they have to pay you your commission. That's a cancel protect kind of thing. In the meantime, while it's under cancel protect, you as a realtor can't contact that seller. You're not allowed to, even though it's not online until that expires. Now, we always get that question. Well, they called me. Well, that's okay. I mean, like Mike's question there is they called us, what do we do? Well, there's nothing you can do. But you can, you're not supposed to talk to them about, the listing and so on and so forth, technically, but they're calling you for a reason. We understand that. So you just have to handle that properly. You can't, I wouldn't be full blown, trying to get the listing kind of thing. But if they're contacting you, I would keep them informed. You can't really talk to them about real estate. You can't what they call it, it's called frustrating a contract. But in my opinion, the contract's already frustrated. So you can't make it any worse. They've already had their fight with their realtor and they're looking for a new one. That's basically it. So just be careful with that. There's not much you can do, but you're going to have to wait until that expires before you can enter into a full contract and full negotiations with them. But you can still keep in contact with them in the meantime. That's all I'm going to say about that. Going forward. So that's the cancel protect. Now the other option to a cancel protect is unconditional release. And that means we just release them. And from my point, and I think from Mike's point as a businessman, and looking out for Century 21 and looking out for all of you, because we represent all of you. We don't represent we represent the individual for sure, but we also represent everybody else. And I've had situations where the realtor and their client, the seller, had a personal disagreement and they got in a bit of a battle and whatever they were and maybe insulted each other. And, the seller claims they're not doing their job and they're not doing this, they're not returning their call, whatever it is. They're just personal things that are out there. And, it escalates to a point where, the seller wants to cancel their listing. There's nothing nefarious going on. They're not talking to their neighbors about, let's get rid of this realtor and I'll sell it to you and I'll cut out the guy and we'll keep his commission. It's not another realtor in there, saying that, let's get rid of him. I can sell this better than that person. When there's nothing suspected in there. So there's a kind of a difference there. One of the indicators that Mike and I both get when we talk to these sellers that want to get out of the contract is they come to us and they say, Doug, I want an unconditional release. Well, as soon as they say that, we all know where that's coming from. It's likely coming from another realtor. Because how would the general public know what the difference between an unconditional release and a conditional release when most of the realtors kind of don't understand that 100%. So when I hear that, my ears go up and my red flags go off. And where did you hear that comment? What's going on? So we kind of get an indication. Pardon me, we kind of get a bit of an indication of where that's coming from. And I'm very astute on that. And I watch out and I talk to you guys and, we get these complaints. And the first thing I do when your client complains to us is I call you and, okay, what's the story? And there's two sides to every story and, it is what it is. But, my job is to kind of mediate the thing and kind of smooth it out and get everybody, hopefully we can get them, another, whatever, solve the problem and you guys go back to listing. So usually what I'll do is I'll kick that back to you and say, look, your client called. Can you give them a call and try and work this out? We need to, it's not working. They want to cancel the thing, but give them a call and see if you can. Here's their issues. Here's their problems. Maybe give them a shot at that. And I'll throw it back to you, see what you can do. And by that time, usually it's far gone beyond that. And it's not going to be worked out at all. So the next thing is, okay, we got two options here, really. We can give them an unconditional release or a conditional release. All the unconditional release does is hold them for 60 days and, hold his feet to the fire for 60 days. They can't sell. Well, it's just going to aggravate them and so on and so forth. They may still want to sell. They might miss the market, all this other stuff. So not a good thing. But if I feel there's another realtor in there or there's something untoward going on, we certainly will hold up their feet to the fire and say, no, we're not giving it to you. But in most cases that I see that, it's just a dispute in personalities and you're just not getting along. Well, at that point in time, I don't see a big advantage of the cancel protect or the conditional release. And what I'll normally want from I'll talk to you, of course, it's your listing. And I'll say, look, how much you spent in marketing? And you'll give me, and usually it's, if you're doing a house, marketing for a house is expensive. I mean, you're doing your Matterport, you're doing your photos, you're doing your floor plans, the whole thing. And, usually, $1,500 to $2,000 for a larger house. Smaller units are going to be a little less, whatever. So what I'll go back to the seller and what I first of all, before just to take a step back from that, when you do your listings, I have a Schedule A, or we have a Schedule A in the office that's recommended. And in that Schedule A, at the very bottom of it, it says if the seller terminates his contract prematurely, they're liable to the agent to repay them for their marketing, money that they spent on it. That's all it says, a one-liner kind of thing. And that's very important to put into your contracts, because if your client were to try and get out, that would mean that they're liable to you to repay your expenses. Now, guys, we're commissioned salespeople. You can't add in your hourly time that you spent driving out there and back and all the time you spent working on it. That's just not, it's not a tangible kind of thing. I mean, I know we all spend hours and hours and hours working on it, getting it ready, marketing and all that stuff, but we're not hourly people. We're not employees of this person. This is a business contract. So really the best we can do is maybe ask for our hard costs back. That's our marketing costs and so on and so forth. So in that case in time, we have a little bit of a leverage there. We have a conditional lease, which is going to hold them for 60 days. Well, that's not going to last very long. And my question to you would be, would you rather have your $1,500 or $2,000 back, or would you rather hold their feet to the fire for 60 days? Well, when you're mad right now and you're kind of upset, and maybe at that point in time you don't want to let them out, but for most if you sleep on it, you'll say, I want my money back. So I'll contact the client and say, look, we'll give you an unconditional lease if you pay back our realtor their hard costs. And normally there's some hard feelings both ways, but push comes to shove. If the client wants out, they pay you the hard costs and you go. Now, if you guys have it in your contract, in your Schedule A on your listing agreement, that says that they're liable to pay that, I don't have to ask for it. It's a no-brainer. And it's an extra step if I have to go and ask them, and they can say, no, I'll wait the 60 days, go away. So there's always that going forward. So keep that in mind, kind of a little bit of information about a conditional lease, unconditional lease. And for PR purposes, guys, we're here to sell real estate. We're not here to hold people hostage or anything like that. And if it's just a personal dispute and there's nothing untoward going on, I'll tend towards the unconditional release regardless, whether or not they pay you back or not, because it's just bad PR. If they get into Facebook and they get into Instagram and say what a bad what a bad company Century 21 is, and they're holding me hostage, and my mother-in-law is sick, and we're trying to help, and and on and on and on, and you get the press in there, and we had who was after us one time. It was Post Media or whatever they're called. Global was doing trying to get interviews about a cancellation and so on, and make a big story out of nothing, kind of thing. So we don't want the bad PR for everybody. We're not only working on for your benefit, work for all realtors in Century 21, and we want to keep the Century 21 name solid. And I mean, we're going to stand up for you absolutely when we have to, and when we think there's something untoward going on. But if it's just a personal dispute between you and your client, we'll tend to try and let them go and move on and get you in a positive space and them in a positive space and get moving forward. Mike, that's kind of coming to the end here. I've been talking for 50 minutes, so I think it's your turn. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about these releases and all that kind of stuff, or need some advice, please call Mike or I. We're more than happy to help you out. We're here all the time. We just did one on the weekend there that was similar to that, and I think everybody walked away satisfied, and maybe not happy but satisfied.
Thanks, Doug. And sorry, guys, I was a little late. Oh, here's my head. Little late getting in, and then I had technical difficulties. Thanks, Doug, for all your stuff. Just to add to that, for the cancel protections, we're there to hear your side of the story. If it sounds like the person's trying to do a deal on the side, yes, we will hold their feet to the fire. If you made a mistake, a bad mistake, and they want to get out of the contract, obviously, yes, we're going to give it the consideration, but we're going to talk it out with you first to explain our position, and then make a decision that benefits everybody. So yeah, so it's not our way or the highway. It is two-way dialogue, or two-way this way and two-way that way, so we hear the whole side. Did you mention that it was Rico's birthday today?
Well, it's 2 birthdays today. Oh no, sorry, it's just Rico's. Yeah, we did. We're gonna sing happy birthday.
Just
but we're waiting for you, Mike.
Just making sure that she she doesn't forget. Sorry. And Christmas party is December the 13th at the Parker Hotel. Heather and I look forward to hosting all you that are coming in. And please make sure that you let Angel know of your attendance, because we have to get the food order correct, so we're not starving anybody and we're not feeding the world when there's what we think is coming. Doug mentioned the market stats. November was busy for us, and us doesn't mean just downtown Vancouver. Us means the Lower Mainland. So it was a really good November, and congratulations to everybody that had real estate transactions and got new listings and stuff. And I think, and I don't have a crystal ball, I think we're going to be busy for the rest of the year and going on into the new year. So keep your phones charged and keep them beside you at all times. Regarding the Christmas party, if you're drinking, please no driving. That's absolute. That's a liability that nobody wants to get, and we don't want to have anybody hurt or anything like that. And what I heard, I got a note that there's going to be major roadblocks this holiday season. So that's another incentive. Well, just don't do it, period. And tell your friends that it's not worth it. There's lots of vehicles to get around in with Uber and Lyft and whatnot. And that's all I have to say today, Doug, is guys, it's busy. Tell your sphere of influence that it's busy. If someone wants to delay a listing till springtime, I wouldn't suggest it. I really wouldn't suggest it unless that corner of the market is completely dead wherever it is that they live. But I'm seeing transactions everywhere, and I'm talking to my peers, not only in this province, but well, Okanagan's pretty slow, but most of them, they're seeing some spike up there. So, but I only care about what goes on in our marketplace as of now. So get busy, make your calls, make sure that your marketing efforts are accurate. And Doug, did you mention about your holidays coming up?
No, I haven't, Mike. I'll be away 17th to 31st of January. And Klaus Road will be handling all my calls and stuff. So you'll always have a helpline there, guys. Klaus was the managing broker previous to me, and very knowledgeable, very easy to get along with. Just give them a heads up if you're working on something. You can email them, you can text them. So that's not till next month. So that's a ways away, Mike.
Yeah. Well, it's in December you're going away, right?
No, I changed that. I got that deal in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
So I'll be around December. Call me anytime. I'm right
Okay,
through
good.
Christmas. I'm on call.
And then when that does happen, just so everybody knows, we send out notification to everybody, and we post it on our board, just how to get in contact with Klaus and whatnot. Yeah.
Just
so that's
relative to that, Mike, just maybe I should mention that if you guys are going away, Paragon isn't, the security is really high apparently, and you might have a hard time logging in. So if you're going away on your own holidays, make sure you have somebody that we can call, boots on the ground nearby, a colleague that we can call if there's a problem. So if you need keys, you need somebody to get into a place, there's an emergency or whatever, one of your colleagues has the information. Also, if you're going away and you need to contact me, I do have WhatsApp, and it's a better platform if you're offshore, or overseas, or you're in Mexico or something like that. I find the phone lines are a little crappy. They can sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. If you're in an outlying area, they're probably not. But wherever you have the internet, if you have WhatsApp, we can communicate really good on WhatsApp. But you need to give me a heads. These are all priorities in my life, and I watch for your call. And if your number pops up on my phone, if I can't answer the phone immediately, I'll call you back in 10 or 15 minutes. as soon as I can get free, if I have to walk outside of a room or something like that, go around the corner so I can have some privacy. So always online, and usually it's not more than an hour or two for a return of a text or a voicemail. And that's, I guess, the same for Mike too. I don't know what your thing is.
I'm just a little bit faster, but I don't want to brag about that.
No, you wouldn't want to say too much about that, Mike. I heard that myself.
Anyway, good. Anyway, good seeing you all here. Doug, as usual, I'm gonna call you after. Doug, do you have a meeting after this?
I was gonna head to the office, Mike. So
Okay,
I
got something. A couple of forms I want to show you in property management just to get your approval.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, if you need us, give us a call. I believe this will be the last. We probably have one more Tuesday meeting next week, and then we'll cut it off for the rest of the year. But by Monday mornings at 11:30, we'll stay on till the week before Christmas. That's just you know, you want to pop in, tell us what happened that week and that weekend, and plan for the week ahead. I'm really good at listening to what position you're in with the clientele dialogue and stuff, and get you a plan and execute it that way. Happy birthday again, Rico. We will see you all soon. Call me if you need me.
All right, guys. Yeah, same. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.